The Critshow contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Critshow, where Tass doesn't have his headphones on.
Whoa.
Because he's not a professional.
Yes, I do.
He was very fast getting them on, but when I started the sentence, he didn't.
What is dancing on your phone?
A game that he's playing because he's not a professional.
I was finishing a battle. This is Lab Assistant Level 1 in helps my upgrades go faster.
Okay, he was doing like a little jig, and so it caught my eye.
Yeah, he's got a little vacuum. He's very helpful.
That's how they get you. Now Rev's going to start playing.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a dance competition mobile game.
Yeah, this episode brought to you by...
Sponsored by...
They sponsor everybody else.
Yeah,
God, it's good.
please. Come on, please. If they don't pay us, we can't
Yeah.
ever talk about them again.
Yeah, and if...
And Tass can't ever play it again.
No!
Yeah, and if what you just listened to is bleeped, it means they did not support us. So you'll never know what we were talking about.
Anyway, last time you all spoke with Gideon further about the circumstances of the fort and Cevna and the town of Edge River. You did a little bit more research into the fort and the woods surrounding it, learned that the stories of the ghosts are neither confirmed nor disproven, but that Gideon believed the wraiths to be true, though they are not recorded anywhere, so it seemed that those were a product of Cevna. Decided to make your advance towards the fort, found passage across the river, and started your trek, where you managed to, 1, utilize the orb again to get a precise location, 2, maintained very good stealth, kept under the radar of the ghosts that, spoiler alert, do exist, and the wraiths, and 3, got eyes on one of those wraiths, learned a little bit more about them visually from a distance, though it didn't pick up on you. You also came upon the remains of some of the battlefield that spans the forest surrounding the fort before laying eyes on the fort itself in the distance. And that is where we find you. You can see Fort Utrecht sprawling out ahead of you off a ways. It does look to be in terrible shape. What remains of the walls, this strange blue stone, they do tower, but you can see that fallen trees and just the growth of the forest have dilapidated this place quite a bit. It would not do as a fort anymore. It is insecure. What are y'all doing?
First, I gotta say, you all got passage across the river is the most underwhelming way you could describe what happened.
I didn't feel that we needed to spend a lot more time.
No, we didn't. It's just like, oh yeah, I got passage across the river. Oh, what'd you do? I took Rad Dave's zipline tours.
Radical Dave got plenty of screen time. He's not paying for ads on this episode, so we don't need to talk about him anymore.
Not this one,
Yeah.
only the last one.
Well, to answer your question, I'm finding the tallest tree I can, and I'm getting the cable that I took from Rad Dave, and I'm trying to hook it around the tree, and then I'm taking my bow and arrow, and I want to shoot it down into the fort.
You be careful, because I'll allow this.
Oh my God.
Is this true? Is this the truth?
I can't say that it's true. I didn't steal his cable and destroy his business.
Okay.
I want a real bad, though. Whatever we decide, we just need to continue our, so far, incredibly successful endeavor of staying quiet and stealthy. There were quite a few trenches and things dug out throughout here when the battles were happening. Of course, so much of it is overgrown, but that doesn't mean that Cevna isn't making use of them in some way.
Do you see anything else patrolling?
I glance around.
I think we can ride your prior notice roll, since this is just what you were keeping an eye out for on this journey. You do see, coming from the opposite direction and much tighter to the walls, you do see another wraith starting to come your way. I mean, again, you guys are a fair distance out, so it's not like beelining for you. It's hugging the wall of the fort, but it seems like it's making a much tighter perimeter than the last one you encountered. And it does look very similar. I think from a distance, you might be able to tell that there's a slight difference in like proportions, slight difference in height, maybe different look of the face. Like they are not identical constructs, but still basically the same being you saw further out in the woods.
There's another one hugging close to the walls. I assume that one's Paul.
Paul says, "Oh, you think that one's got the same name as me?" He's been here the whole time.
Oh, hello, Paul.
He's like the toy from Toy Story that just doesn't have legs or whatever, just walks on its arms. That's Paul.
Oh, God.
Except he's not yoked. They're very thin.
Oh. I'm sure if that's the only one out here that we could time it in a way that once it's not hugging the side we would like to enter, we might be able to get in swiftly. It's just much harder to see if there's anything watching from within. I am particularly worried that Vaughn might have beaten us here, since he was otherwise mounted.
Okay, so do we kind of stay back and wait for this one to pass by on its route, or do we get closer and try to find a hiding spot?
If the trenches are still there, if they're not incredibly overgrown or if they haven't been filled in between, that would be a nice close spot that we would be able to regather ourselves before we try to make our way in.
If they are overgrown, it's likely that's a place they're not expecting people to be. That's a great idea.
If they're not being utilized in some other way. As I said, they were the defense trenches of this fort, and we are, for lack of a better term, the attacking force at the moment.
You have to remember, though, Cevna believes in her power. She believes that it makes her better and stronger and better defended. She's not going to solely rely on traditional measures of defense.
That is true. She is incredibly confident, sassy, driven. Just a very proud woman.
Yeah. I just look at Kade, shake my head.
Did I show you guys Cevna?
No?
Damn.
Yes, all right.
Yeah, I get it.
Thank you.
She kind of looks like an Elseworld poison ivy.
Kinda.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I will have Einon point out some of the trenches and see if I can sneak my way up into one to see what it's like.
All right. I mean, same deal. I think we can ride the stealth roll you already made. That was opposed by the Wraith's notice, and they did not notice you. So I think that extends here, because they are still just doing their patrols. They are not wise to your arrival or anything. So you are able to sneak. Is it just you, or is it the whole group, or is it just you and Smee?
I was imagining just me so that I could see, like, is this a viable option for us, then come back to everybody?
Scout it out.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you scout up towards one of the trenches. You can feel things sort of like shifting and giving underneath your feet as you move that are buried beneath the moss. And you are able to sink down into one of them, where as long as you stay low, you can kind of peek up over the edge. It's not nearly as structured as you're sure it once was. It seems like the supports that kind of hold the walls up have given in. It's more of like trying to think of a word, like a dip more than a trench at this point. Like kind of the walls have spilled in a little bit. It's not as like rigid and below grade unless you stay in the middle of it and stay low.
I think ditch is a good way to say that.
Perfect. It's more of a ditch. But you can tell that, yeah, as long as you're careful, you could use this to move about. It's not going to close you much distance, but it could get you around the fort. Like these were set up at a range away from the fort. You also think that with some careful timing, you could make your way from one to the next, and also close distance in addition to repositioning around the fort.
Okay. Yeah, I will go back and tell them that. Yeah, they seem relatively clean. The sides have caved in a bit, but there's no, like, overgrowth or anything. It is a little tricky just getting to them. Like, there's stuff underneath the moss, whether it's maybe collapsed machines or old trenches that were filled in or even mortar explosions. I don't know, but...
All right, if that will give us a bit of cover, at least, as we make our way closer, sounds good to me.
Okay, so what is the objective here?
I take some handfuls of moss and I just kind of put them on top of Smee.
Okay.
They're not going to stay very well, but I'll do something.
He reaches up and adjusts them like a toupee.
All right, yeah, I think as you are like scooping up handfuls of the earth and the moss to put on Smee, you start to uncover some of this stuff that is underfoot, and you find the remains of what looks like a cannon in some form. It does not look like it is of human origin. Looks like maybe it was one of the weapons that the Fae tried to utilize to siege the fort, but it is toppled and broken apart, and the barrel of this cannon is peppered with rusted out holes.
How swiftly do you think you could shift this old thing to just fire us up into the fort?
Guess it depends on what it used. I don't even know what they used, if it's gunpowder or if they were like shooting balls of compressed ether.
Do you want to give me an investigate roll to see what you can figure out about this?
I do.
Why don't you overcome with investigate? Let me ask, do you think that you've spent time, like, studying this at any point? Like, do you think you've ever done research on the weaponry or the siege machines of the Fae Wars?
No, I think I would know ours, but I don't think I have any way to really know theirs.
Okay. Then I think it'll be a challenge because it's in pretty bad shape. Let's call it a 4 you're trying to beat.
God damn. 6?
All right.
Nice.
So you start poking around at this thing, uncovering more of it, investigating what it is, how it works. And I think what you find is that it was an ether-powered device when it operated. I think you've probably heard mention of sun cannons in the past, and you think that that's what this is, that it was ether-powered, but what it basically did was like fire like a railgun projectile of like sunlight, like just an energy beam, rather than gunpowder or explosive or like an actual physical round.
Oh my god, I think this is a sun cannon. Like it would use magic and it would shoot out almost like compressed beam of the sun.
My goodness.
Yeah. I'm going to start like trying to harvest the pieces off of this that I don't recognize. The parts that I know are not like, well, this is just the muzzle of the cannon. This is where the powder goes. Like I want the pieces that are not ours.
Okay. I love that. That's very interesting. I'm trying to think of how to resolve it. I mean, I think you just do. Like, if you're just going to spend some time, I don't necessarily want to, like, name a bunch of pieces right now.
Sure.
I like the idea of leaving the freedom later to tell me what they are or how they might be useful.
Okay.
So, yeah, you scavenge some unknown parts off of this sun cannon.
How much time do we have to do this? Like, how much time do we think we have until that wraith gets around this area to, like, get to the trenches or stay hidden? Like, what's our time frame here?
From where you first noticed the wraith, like assuming that you guys, before you advance on the trenches, it doesn't seem like a wraith's path is going to cross you. Like, you could stay here and be okay. There was the one deeper into the woods that you are past. There's the one hugging the walls. You seem like you are in kind of a no man's land for their patrols here.
Cool.
Once you start advancing into the trenches, then it would matter.
Okay. And I know we're a little further back. Would I have any chance of noticing anything from the keep, like windows, anyone looking out, stuff like that? Or do I need to get a little bit closer before that would be possible?
Why don't you roll with notice? I think you have the potential to unveil an advantage here.
Oh.
So roll create an advantage with notice, and I think you're trying to beat a 4.
Okay. 6.
All right.
Nice.
So you don't see anybody like peeking windows or, watching from around a corner or anything like that. You do see like a very faint haze around the grounds here, like a heat mirage almost, just a very, very subtle distortion that I think you read as a particularly pronounced field of ether that is just resonating from somewhere within the fort and falls, spreads all throughout. The aspect I'm going to call the spider's web. You get the impression that once you broach this field, beyond normal senses of sight and sound, whoever's at the center of it is going to have a degree of extrasensory perception of anybody who's in it, like a spider does within their web. So you think that just the closer you get to the middle, the more careful you're going to need to be, because just by existing in the space, you will be more noticeable to Cevna.
Oh, fuck off.
What?
I kind of gather them close as he's, messing with this cannon and just kind of crouch down with them and just point to where I can see like the most pronounced shimmer, like whatever bit of light can hit the right way. Do you see that there? Is that just that bit of, it's not quite mist, it's not quite, well, I don't know. It's ether, frankly. Once we get to that point, there's a much greater chance that Cevna's going to know we're there.
Okay, I mean, can we dispel it somehow? If it is like a mist or a fog, like, I don't know, can we create a pathway?
I mean, I feel like if we dispel it, then she'll definitely know something's going on. But I wonder if I could, like, if you got a bright light going across and you can, like, position mirrors to make it bounce and then continue on.
Yes.
I wonder if I could do that with the magic, like channel it around or through myself to not disrupt the web, but bend it around us.
You have said this with such confidence that I have zero doubts that it'll work. I truly don't have a gauge of the extent of what might be possible. Of course, complete stealth is extremely desirable. Is there any chance of, how do I say this, manipulating where a signature might come up? Which is to say, were it a spider web and we approached on this side, us affecting it might trigger something on the opposite side. Send away those who might be coming after us.
Maybe. I'm not going to lie, that sounds a little trickier.
Fair.
Could we get Paul to go in on the other side?
You got it, dude. Plap, 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 plap.
No.
Just palms on moss.
Honestly, Kate, I mean, even what you're talking about, the redirecting, it sounds dangerous. It sounds like you'd be letting in a lot of ether.
Yeah, this is probably a weird time to talk about this. I can do that now.
What do you mean?
You remember when I got hit by the lightning that wasn't lightning?
Yes.
Yes?
It kind of like opened up a faucet between me and the planet, and now I can channel the ether.
What? And I think I go over and now, like, I'm inspecting him and, like, looking in his eyes like Einon was doing to me earlier. What do you mean? You feel it more? How do you feel now? Do you feel hazy or super powerful or like you want to take over the world or?
No, I feel the same. Like it's not out of my control, and it's something that I think I'm choosing to activate because there's got to be, it's what Einon said, there's got to be a middle ground. And so if I can understand the mechanics and if I can understand the ether, maybe we can find a middle ground.
At the very least, I think this idea of shielding us in that way is worth a try. This is going to be dangerous no matter what. So what is the flavor of the danger that we would like to taste today? Simply trying as hard as we can to be as quiet as we can, or attempt something a little different. Now, this brings me to the other point that I think we need to make before we have any decision about this approach. She lives here. Her apprentices know she's here and clearly communicate with her in this way. She has guards here. What exactly do we intend to do? Because we can't just walk in, sneakily fix it and walk out. That would be pointless. She'll break it again the hour after we leave.
Yeah, we gotta get her out of here. Like, we gotta evict her.
She's so powerful, though.
We've beat her once.
Yeah, but she didn't have a power source like this to tap into. This ether is everywhere.
Okay, so maybe that's what we do. If we can get inside, maybe we can put a kink in the hose while we deal with her.
You're suggesting that we actually do sneak in and fix it.
I mean, I don't think we can fix it, but we could maybe clog it for a moment so that she doesn't have access to all that extra stuff to pull in.
If you think you can redirect where the ether is, do you think you could maybe put it in something so it's not open and available for her to access? Like a battery? Not forever, but just temporarily? And I look at Smee.
I mean, maybe use Smee as a stopgap for all of that. Like a cork for at least a couple minutes. Yeah. The glass ball thing, that's a battery too. It's feeding you. I think with Smee and that battery and some of the other parts I've got, I could probably cobble something together to just for a minute, like a teapot, like something just to hold it in for a minute while we deal with her.
I mean, if those components you're gathering are from something called a sun cannon and it was used to harness energy, I wouldn't be surprised if you could utilize that to make this hold power for a while.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was kind of taking these pieces because I remember reading something that ghosts or wraiths don't like light. And like, this would be great to have as a weapon against them in the future. But yeah, even utilizing it now, I guess would be better. So do we just go in and move with purpose and hope that because we're moving with purpose, she assumes we're someone who should be there? Or is this like we're inside of this magic and so she looks in another ball and she just sees us?
I think we try to sneak in. I think we're going to have a much more difficult time this time because if we fail and she tries to notice us, she'll have an advantage because of this web of ether she set up. And I think if that happens, we have to split up. We've got to draw her attention to different places. I will head for the movement core and try to figure out what's wrong with it and what we need. And Kade, you figure out how to plug up the leak. And Einon, you draw her attention. And hopefully it's just her.
I suppose I could get on board with that. If things do go terribly wrong, again, don't forget that we have at least one wraith in immediate proximity to respond to her call, a fair chance at Vaughn, and a small chance of Doris as well. I don't like the idea of splitting up, but if it comes to engaging with a danger while you guys can do the things that I can't possibly, then I will do my best to tear away their focus.
Or here's a completely different plan. We split up first, and I'll use the orb to draw her attention. Maybe Doris or Vaughn or the Wraith or whatever. She'll send him towards my location, and then you guys can sneak in from the other sides, and that'll give us a better chance to reach it first. Or Einon, if you want to take this and be the one to draw her attention.
I do think that that's a better idea, only because there's not much I'm going to be able to do inside there aside from defend you both, and well, I should probably just start out with defending you both if that will give you a chance.
Can I reach out into the earth to feel I don't know how this flow of ether works. I can open up and draw a little bit. Is there a way to sense where there might be more power close by, or
To what end? What's your objective?
to figure out if that open source is in the same place as the movement core, or if she is
She cut into the line somewhere else.
yeah.
Ah, I see.
Because we know the movement core is in the center of the fort.
Yeah,
So if you're sensing it from somewhere else.
to the far right, or yeah. I'm trying to see if she's spliced into the cable line somewhere else.
Okay. Since you have the ether use extra, I think you could make a lore roll to demonstrate and use your knowledge of ether to figure this out.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to be exceedingly difficult, and I can explain why in a moment. I think you're just going for trying to beat a 2 here.
Okay.
Overcome with lore, trying to beat a 2.
7.
Hell yeah.
Well, you get a boost.
Wish I'd saved that roll for something important
Yeah.
later.
You can tell that the line has not been tapped elsewhere. This seems to be stemming from the core, which is at the center of the fort.
Okay, Maxine, I think that you and I don't need to split up because I think that the source of the power is coming from the center. So it and the movement core are in the same location. It's probably just that she's done something to the movement core to let all this out.
Okay, so where do we want to enter from? Well, I suppose we have to get to the trenches first. We've got to get closer and figure out where entrances even are before we decide which one of us goes in which entrances or what direction that Einon will distract from. We don't really have the best view from back here in the tree line.
Yeah, I suppose we better get closer to see what there is to see.
All right. I must reiterate, I think, if this is how we're going to do this, if I'm going to be the distraction, it is paramount that you two go as slowly, carefully as you possibly can, because if she gets any inclination in her head that I am simply a distraction, she's going to know where to go.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can siphon off some of this cloud so that if that point comes, she won't have as easy of a time.
All right. Let's be off then.
To the trenches.
Okay. You all make your way towards the trenches, stepping delicately over the ads.
Oh, man, that one went off.
Just loudly starts playing. And
No.
as we come back, the ads finish and the Wraith hears them and heads straight for your
And it's
location.
I'm interested in that.
Goes straight to stitchfix.com or whatever ad. I don't know. So as you all approach trying to nestle in the trenches, I think I am going to have us do another contested stealth versus notice here. We are really starting to crack into the wraith's perimeter and this spider's web of ether. Do we want Kade to lead that again?
Sure. I mean, can we do this as a teamwork, or how does that work when it's all of us?
Yeah, you can do this as a teamwork.
Seems like this one makes more sense because getting into the forest, we were all kind of doing different things to focus together. Now we know where we're going. We're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who has stealth?
Me.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I just took it from my level up.
So I got a 5, a 7 with the assistance of the team, a 9 if I use that boost before it's gone.
Okay. That will handily beat the not inconsiderable 5 of the Wraith's notice.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, you manage to stay covert. You advance through these trenches. So tell me, like, at what point are we splitting up? What does it look like? Where are you going? Like, you've earned this based off of that stealth, but I just want to have a clear picture in my head of what these next steps are.
It seems like we're trying to get close to it and then look at the viable entrance options.
Yeah, and I think they are many. Like, the walls are wrecked. They are overgrown and busted by trees. You could get in here pretty much any damn place you wanted.
I mean, if there is a noticeable front door to this place, like if it's not so far ruined that, you can't tell where the entrance is, but I think if we can determine that, that's probably where Einon would come from, since he's announcing himself, kind of, and then we'll just pick a side or back way.
Okay. And is Einon taking the orb?
No, I guess if he's, like, actually really trying to make himself known, he could just call out.
I think he should, because if not, she'll still be able to sense it if it's with us.
She wouldn't know to, because she doesn't know it's taken.
Well, we assume that.
Well, we assume that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's no difference with you having it, I think I should take it, and I feel like this should be in character.
Yeah.
Take us in.
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop.
Oh, it's so weird.
Yeah, that's
Why our
strange.
voices were
That
like
was
that for
weird.
a second?
Must be the spiderweb magic mist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
that
must be-
ether haze just got in my lungs, and
So I'm
Yo.
reaching out my hand to take the orb from you.
Yo, you guys know where to get any of that spiderweb magic mist?
Paul,
that-
get out of
Get
I
here!
heard
out
that
of
shit
here, Paul.
fucks you up. Okay, bye. Plop, 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 plop.
I need art of Paul. just plapping hands on the forest floor as he runs.
No, yeah, I definitely offer to take it. I think the greater point here, because Cevna is not stupid. I should still be trying to sneak my way into the core in a roundabout way that's obvious that I'm there, but not obvious that I'm letting her know that I'm there.
Oh,
That way she sends maybe herself, maybe any forces that she has, to slow my progress, her thinking that I think that I'm clever, and am just not quite defeating her defenses, so to speak.
honestly, I didn't understand the plan. I thought you were just going to profess your love and make it really ostentatious.
It's
and-
not the time.
Is there a time?
Yes.
No.
Yes. We all know the time when it comes upon us, and it is not today.
Or at least not yet today. Maybe in a little bit.
After I see her in person, there are just all bets are off, being frank. But if I just announce myself, she's going to know that I'm a distraction, so it should look like I'm still trying to make my way in and just not quite doing it.
I know this is gonna be rough. I don't know who you're gonna encounter, but don't forget to put up a fight.
No, of course.
All right, I'll hand over the orb.
And if I come back around and you see that glint of green in my eye, slap the shit out of me.
Will do.
Okay, so Einon's taking the orb. He is pseudo-infiltrating, but with the point of drawing attention. What has become of the idea of you manipulating the web around you? Is that still something you're going to work on or not?
Do I think it would even be possible to stealth through this thing?
You think that it would be possible to just straight up stealth.
Okay.
But, like, imagine that like you're trying to just stealth past the eye of Sauron.
Yeah.
You know, like it was theoretically doable, but it sees a lot. It sees a lot more than normal.
Is this like there's a way through, but they've got to like Catherine Zeta their way through the laser lines?
Yes, basically. Imagine that you were trying to entrapment through a laser grid, and the laser grid was becoming denser the closer you got to the goal.
Okay. I was imagining this as like we could stealth through, but if she had any reason to suspect something was up, she'd be able to hone in on us really easily. Not like we trip something and then she's aware of it.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question. Like, from what I could see of this and knowing, I know a lot about magic, do I get the idea that if she just got the idea to quote unquote check the cameras, that she could scan the place and be like, oh, hi, I see you?
Not through this just like extant force that's floating through here.
Okay.
That's why she's got her wraiths.
Got it.
That's why she would have acolytes. Like, there are forces actively looking.
Got it.
But then there is just this kind of web of tripwires.
Got it. So then I think I would just try to reassure them on that. So you're going to try a weird magic bending bubble? I'm only asking because if you are going to do that, I'm going to stick around long enough to watch because I'm very intrigued by this.
Yeah, I feel like you going in first and us going a little further down the path and then just going slow and steady and trying to stealth our way through is probably best.
All right, then. I pull them each into a hug. You've got this?
Please be careful.
No promises?
But, not too careful.
Yes.
No, very careful. This is dangerous. Please, both of you.
I will very, very carefully don a bullseye in your honor.
That's all I ask.
Marvelous. And I give them a nod, and I start to, quote unquote, sneak my way in.
All right. So for you, I think this is going to be a deceive.
Oh, no.
And I'm just trying to decide how hard I think it is. Let me look at Cevna again. Let me look at her skills.
Deceive is a skill, huh?
Yes, it is.
Oh, good.
It sure is, champ.
I didn't know on account of it not being written on my sheet.
So normally deceive would be contested by empathy. That doesn't feel correct to me, though, in this situation, because it's more like a notice or an investigate. Like, you are spinning a non-truth here, but it's not like interpersonal communication. It is like, can she pick up on a false pattern? So I'm leaning towards this being you rolling to deceive and her contesting it with investigate to see if she can suss it out.
Yeah, because empathy is being able to spot changes in a person's mood or bearing. So that's why it's usually like the opposite of deceive. It's like the emotional notice skill. But if they're not actually having a conversation, then it's just kind of her studying his movements, I guess. But then when you're talking about notice versus investigate, like notice is usually more of like, what information can you pick up at a glance? Like it's not as in-depth as investigate, but it's easier to do. But if it's something that like she would be like, oh, something's in my web, I'm going to now study it to determine what approach I take, that feels more in-depth than notice.
Actually, now that you mentioned that empathy is the emotional notice skill, now I'm kind of flipping back towards maybe this should be notice, because it would be empathy. So if it's not empathy, but it's like the same trigger,
yeah,
should
but
it
like,
be notice?
I guess that depends on how much thought she would give this, because like I just said, like if it's something that she's going to pay attention to before she makes a decision on how to act, that's much more than at a glance.
Right, yeah, I hear you. However, she's very good at notice, and she's not very good at investigate.
Well, because it's weird because it's kind of like multi-layered, because Einon's saying like, oh, I'm going to get caught, but not make it look like I'm going to get caught. So there is a level of still having to do it well.
Yeah.
So it almost feels like there has to be like a stealth versus a notice. And then if she succeeds in that, then it becomes a deceit versus an investigate to notice if that's real.
I mean, his objective, though, like, he doesn't intend to get away with it. Like, I guess...
But he also doesn't intend to look like he's doing it badly.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not it's not a do I get away with it or not? It's do I sell it or not?
And that's the deceive as opposed to the stealth.
Yeah.
And I guess that comes back to the other question is, what is the degree of my skill at accomplishing physically the deceit versus my opinion of I'm deceiving her.
Yeah, because that's where deceive gets kind of tricky too. Like, he's a skilled hunter. He can set up false tracks, and it's hard.
This is, we've come up with a real silly thing for you to pick apart.
If you rolled the stealth
Uh-huh.
and you failed it, what's the consequence? That you go unnoticed? Because the objective is to be noticed in a particular way.
Yeah, I think it's that he gets away. He's too good at it. He can't even fuck it up when he tries.
Yeah, and this was something we paused for a second with set off mic, but I asked Tass, does Einon think he could get away with this unnoticed if he was trying, or does he think he has to try to get caught? And Tass said, I think I have to try to get caught. So, yeah, the idea of if Einon is that good...
I think maybe that's true. I like that idea of I have to roll well on stealth to get noticed, because I would know I have done it. I have done really well, so I know where to, drag my shoulder across the laser beam at just the right hint of an angle that I quote-unquote get caught.
Okay, so I feel like we are... Because there's still going to have to be a... I feel like we're just turning this into two roles for
I
you.
know, and I'm okay with the thought of that.
Okay. All right, so let's start with your stealth versus Cevna's notice.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I had to math so hard. 5.
6.
I'm an experienced hunter. I would love to spend a point on that. And she doesn't know I'm here.
She's 3 steps ahead.
Fuck! But I have such keen reactions to how I'm going to be moving.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I'll concede. All right, so you stealth...
Oh no, I just used all my points before the skill roll with no points in it. Oh no!
Vamp,
Oh, man.
get him to the end of an episode.
This game might become hard for the first time. Oh no! Oh my god, you mean there's a risk?
Oh fuck.
Fuck that!
I forgot that on the level up you spent refresh so that now you only have 2 a session.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful. So you do your stealth appropriately poorly. Just poorly enough to get noticed.
Yep. And we settled that this was going to be this one roll, right?
So now I think it's just a deceive versus an investigate to see if she catches onto your bullshit.
Okay.
And hey, to be fair, she doesn't have investigate either, so we're both just rolling this flat.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Her notice was very good. Her investigate is not.
Okay. 2.
She got a -2.
Oh my God! Oh.
And I mean, even if I felt I could justify spending something, I don't know that it's not going to be worthwhile. So you sell this ruse.
In reward, I get attacked from all sides. What am I doing?
Your best.
Oh.
Boy, I think I need time to decide what happens to you. So I think this is where we're going to end this one.
Oh, man.
What horrors befall you for doing exactly what you meant to do?
What happens when you get what you wish for?
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us for another episode of the Crit Show. If you're interested in more information about the Fade RPG or the Clockwinders, you can check the episode description to find that information. Visit our Patreon at patreon.com/thecritshow to see a lot of other stuff we've made, both in terms of content and in terms of physical objects. And you can get your name read at the end of an episode, just like Dave Garmajan. He's been willed into existence.
Yeah, and it's the actual Dave Garmajan who won the contest.
Welcome,
years
Dave.
ago, yeah.
Years ago. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you to everybody else listening. Tune in next time for another episode of The Crit Show and more Clockwinder adventures. Everybody tell them bye.
Bye, Dave, and everybody else.
I just said the phrase, the actual Dave Garmajan.
The Crit Show is a Critshow Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz, with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritShow.